Hello everybody and welcome once again for another video of DIY investing. With my last video talking about the doomsday prophecy for XRP, I wanted to quickly dive into a chart today and share with you guys my overall big picture thinking with the state of the altcoins. Now, whenever it comes for me finding the best long-term investment strategies or creating the best trading plans around my long-term portfolio, I like to look back at the altcoin market cap and I like to look at the dominance because I think that these are the better charts that we can stare at that are going to give us a better clue of what's going to happen with the long-term trend. And so with my recent bearish update with XRP, I wanted to tell you guys kind of my overall stance on the altcoins so I can explain to you guys where I actually think that all of them are headed. And I'm not super bearish about altcoins. In fact, I'm pretty optimistic about what's happening. So in today's video, we're going to be diving in and I'm going to be sharing with you guys why I think that altcoins are destined for the moon in 2020. If you're new and just finding this channel, make sure you hit that subscribe button so you don't miss any more content like the one provided for you here. Click the notification bell so that you get notified every single time I have a new update for you guys. If you guys are ever looking to educate yourself on some really top educational content, I actually offer a course and then I offer signals as well for the people that are trying to copy my own personal investments and follow my own portfolio and trading plan. You guys are definitely going to want to check that out, so follow the invitation link in the description of this video and there you're going to get access to my Discord server. That's where all of my stuff is posted, is on Discord, so make sure you guys check that out and get invited and join the server today. With all that being said, thank you all so much for the support and let's jump right in the video. So here we are, guys, taking a look at the logarithmic chart of the altcoin market cap. Now this one is a really important chart that I've been watching very closely over the last few weeks, and the reason for that is because I've been following the cycle time frames when it comes to the overall market cap of the altcoins, as well as taking a look at Bitcoin's market cap. And I've already told you guys some similarities that I've pointed out between XRP and some of the other coins, and how December and January are really good times for reversals, or the new year. The new year is a really good time for reversals inside of the altcoin market, and this is actually the biggest reason why I'm so bullish heading into 2020. Now, there's a lot of fear inside the market. The markets really haven't moved a whole lot other than Bitcoin, and I think that even Bitcoin's starting to shake out the majority of people. I think most people are starting to expect us to go for more downside just because of how much we've bled from our original reversal in December of last year. And so I wanted to go through and talk to you guys about my thoughts and my analysis moving forward with the altcoin market cap. We'll also be taking a look at the altcoin dominance and a fractal that I'm noticing, and then we'll tie all of this together by taking a look at Bitcoin's market cap because I think that all of these are pointing to early signs of reversal. Now, this is all of the price history that we have of the altcoin market cap. This is basically all of the money inside of altcoins. Now, what I've noticed is every 2 years we go through these cycles. Now, you're going to notice a couple different lines. So the red lines here are reversals that took place after the new year, and then the green ones are actually going to be where it was a positive reversal and it was a bull run at the new year. Now, these little gray lines that you can see, these represent the halvenings that take place inside of Bitcoin. And so I kind of just drew up this chart because I'm noticing that we have this big long trend line. Now, it doesn't mean that altcoins have to come back down and retest this trend line, because that's not the case at all. I just have it drawn here to kind of show you guys the direction the market's moving. Now, with that being said though, I still think that it is possible we could touch down at the bottom of this trend line, which would require alts to kind of sell through their supports or at least get very close to doing so. But I also don't think that we have to at the same time. And so kind of what I'm watching for right now is we have a couple scenarios. We could either be at the bottom right now before we start to kind of go back up in the market cycle. We could see kind of another lower low that would take us to the bottom of this trend line. And those are really the two scenarios that I'm watching for right now. Either way, I'm not really worried about the short-term prospect compared to the long-term upside potential that I've been seeing. Now, kind of what I'm seeing right now is every new year we have a major reversal, right? And so with the new year, we go through these 2-year cycles, and this is the entire altcoin market. Now, a lot of altcoins, you'll chart them and it'll really only show you like enough price history from like maybe back here, or maybe like just the 1-year bull run in 2017. And so I like to look at the altcoin market cap because this is the entire price history that we have of market cap by altcoins. And so this is all of the altcoins we have to date. Now, we go through these 2-year cycles where we top out or we bottom at the new year. In this case, we topped out and then we went into a 2-year bear cycle. Now, 2 years from that point, January 1st of 2016, we started a brand new uptrend. And it was right after that point in which we broke out and really made our first impulse before we went into the new cycle. Now, this is kind of like what happened right before our first halving in 2016. We had our little front running that began where we made our first impulse right before that halving. And then after the halving, we kind of sold off a little bit. And so I think that we're going to see something very similar play out inside of Bitcoin's market today and the altcoins. I think that we could be experiencing roughly the same sort of cycle as what we did before. Now, this is what sparks a 2-year bull run that lasts from January 1st of 2016 all the way to January 1st of 2018. And so then we have another 2-year cycle. And so we just kind of reverse. We went from having a 2-year bear cycle, reversing 2-year bull cycle, and then at the top of 2018, at the start of the new year of that year, we actually started a new bear cycle. Now, what's interesting to me is how we generally have these big reversals at the new year. And so the next new year we had was right here at the bottom, basically before we had our first impulse. And so even though we didn't break all-time highs and kind of move into the next cycle, I think that this is really just an early sign of accumulation. Now, the difference between the two cycles, there's a few little differences that I've noticed. We basically trended below this descending resistance throughout the entirety of the last bear cycle, but with this one we had a little bit of a different approach. Now, we can see here that we broke outside of this descending resistance that held us a little bit prematurely, but what we're seeing roughly is the same sort of accumulation where we maintain pretty low trajectory throughout the bear market retrace. There is some swing highs, but generally speaking, it's not very big of a bullish move, and we're just seeing more choppy action than anything. And that's roughly the entire thing that we've seen right here. In fact, it's been a lot less volatile than even the last cycle. And so kind of what I'm seeing right now is the fact that with the new year just approaching, I do believe that we're done and ended with the bear market. Now, it is possible we could see a little bit more downside, but I think that this is the early sign that we're going to see a reversal coming very soon. Now, this last gray line over here represents the next halving that's going to take place, and that's going to be May 25th, 2020. And I can't remember if it's May 20th, 2020 or May 25th, but either way, this is where we're going to see the next halving take place. Now, this looks a lot the same as what we saw back here, and I think that what we could be seeing right now is just really our last consolidation before we spring back up into this new halving phase, and then we kind of start to sell off from that point. And I think we could see something like we did back in the day, where with the news of the halving coming out, people are going to buy the rumor, and then it's going to create us and give us a really that first impulse that's going to break out into these new highs. And I think that the market cap would actually break all-time highs and retrace relatively close to that all-time high mark that we've seen in years past. And so after the halving, I would actually expect us to kind of sell off a little bit, just because of the fact I kind of the little rule that pops up into my head is buy the rumor and sell the news. And so I think that we could be seeing something along the lines of this. Now, there are a few different scenarios that I'd watch for, but this would be my primary. I think that with the new year, this is kind of the big thing that I've been watching for over the last few months if you watch my analysis. And so I'm just basing my long-term strategy generally around these time frames, because I think that the market's going to follow these time frames very closely, and I do believe that we're about to start a brand new 2-year uptrend in this place. And so that would put us 2 years from now is going to put us at 2022. The start of 2022, I think that we'll have around a reversal. Maybe it's a little bit before that, maybe it's a little after, but that's kind of what I'm going to be watching out for with this market. And so with the altcoins, I do believe that we're headed for a very bullish time. Look at all of the new volume that's coming in here. I mean, we're just riding this bigger picture trend of things, and that's why I'm pretty bullish on things. I mean, it is possible that altcoins can drop a little bit lower, but looking at the big picture trend, I'm not too worried about that. And this is exactly why you guys see me always talk about averaging into your positions. And that's what I've been doing this entire time, is just averaging into positions, taking as many positions as I can, accumulating more Bitcoin, accumulating more altcoins, because I do really believe that this new year is going to bring in a ton of new money entering the market where we can make a lot of wealth in the process. And so this is kind of what I'm watching out for with the altcoin market cap. Now let's actually dive into one of the next parts of the video. And this is going to be the altcoin market cap by dominance. Now, this is a really good chart that I've made. I don't think I've seen anybody else talking about this, But basically what's going on is the Fibonacci equation, the Fibonacci sequence, I mean, it's kind of the same as with our Fibonacci extension tool, but the numbers inside of the Fibonacci sequence, you have 1 and 1 is 2, 2 and 1 is 3, 3 and 2 is 5, and then you have 5 and 3 is 8, 8 and 5 is 13, and then you have 8 and 13 is 21. And that's actually the multiples of the Fibonacci equation and how it grows. Now, the Fibonacci sequence, I've noticed a pattern that's playing out inside of the altcoin market cap, and every time we bottom before a major upswing in alt season where all the altcoins rally, it's actually an equivalent of the Fibonacci sequence, and that's what we've seen every bottom before a major alt run. 3, 5, 8, 13, and now the next equivalent's actually 21%. And so kind of what I'm expecting to see throughout the majority of the altcoin market is I believe that the Bitcoin pairs are actually going to drop again. And the reason for that is because we haven't finished our Elliott wave cycle yet. We've had a 1, we've had a 3, and we need one more final 5-wave impulse back down that will complete that Elliott wave bearish impulse. Now, we've completed 1 wave, 3 waves, and now we just need the final 5 of the 5 impulse, and that's going to completely finish this short-term bear cycle that we're experiencing inside the altcoins, and that's what's going to set us up for this new bearish cycle. Now, it's really important that we understand this because we only have one more impulse. Now, the thing that's going to happen, and there's a few different scenarios that I'm watching for. Either Bitcoin can start breaking out right here, which I kind of think is what's going to happen. Bitcoin will start breaking out a little bit early. Bitcoin pairs are going to drop off and make one more new low, but the dollar pairs on altcoins are going to rally with Bitcoin. And so if you're watching XRP versus the dollar, Ethereum against the dollar, Litecoin against the dollar, any of these altcoins against the dollar, they're going to rally up with Bitcoin. But the Bitcoin pairs of altcoins are going to go down for another low. And so I think that that's actually what's going to take place. Now, the next multiple inside of our Fibonacci equation is actually 21% Bitcoin or altcoin dominance. And so that would send Bitcoin dominance to about 79%. And that would send altcoin dominance down to 21%, which would also line up exactly the same as how the Fibonacci sequence has been fractaling out altcoin growth and expansion. And so I'm expecting for a 21% altcoin dominance, and so we'll have one more leg lower that's going to really just stop us in that process. And so we'll have one more sell-off that takes us down a little bit lower inside of the altcoins, but the dollar pairs will actually rally up. And so you'll gain dollar value, but you'll lose Bitcoin value. And so that's why I recommend everybody holds a significant majority of their portfolio inside of Bitcoin. It's because it's the driver of the value. It's always going to be performing well even when altcoins don't, and so you can always guarantee that you're going to get profits with Bitcoin. Now, the last part of this video, we're going to take a look at the Bitcoin market cap. And the reason for this is I believe that this is the most bullish chart for Bitcoin, and this explains kind of what the market's going to do next. Now, if we pull up a Fibonacci tool, we can see that we're basically bottomed here and have found support at this 618 Fibonacci level. And I think that this could be the early signs of a reversal. Now, obviously we have this major descending resistance that's held us throughout the entire length of this retrace in the short-term bearish move. And we've rejected off of this a number of different times. But what's taking place here, and what I want to point out, is the 618 Fibonacci is honestly one of the better Fibonacci relationships that you're ever going to be able to trade in a bull market. The most bullish coins with experiencing the highest amount of bullish price action will find support at this 618 Fibonacci level, and that's where a lot of new money will enter the market. And so you have smart money that comes and buys the dips at the 618 Fibonacci, and the most bullish charts, assets of any kind will follow that relationship. And so kind of what I'm seeing now is the fact that the first time we came down and made a contact with this 618 zone was about right here. And we can see that in that move we had a massive amount of new volume that came in, and that's why we got this big price swing. Now, even though we didn't break out, we've still maintained support at this same level, and we failed to really break below that with any significance. And every time we do, we have new volume that's coming in with each bounce. Now, what that is telling me is that this cycle right now is getting a lot of volume coming in and a lot of buyers at this 618 level. And I think that that's why we're experiencing an early reversal. Now, why I say that is because if we look at the 3-day time frame, we're going to see that we have massive bullish divergence that's formed. And if you look at the daily time frame, which I've analyzed in other YouTube videos previously, we have a lot of bullish divergence ever since this point here. We've made 4 consecutive lower lows, and we've never maintained a lower low on the RSI, which shows that the momentum is swinging in the bullish favor. And so I actually believe that we're very close to breaking out. Now, we're forming a little inverse head and shoulder currently inside of price inside of the 618 region. And so if this pattern plays out and we break out of the neckline, that's most likely going to set us up for roughly this 382 Fibonacci level. And so if I come in here, let's remove this Fibonacci level and let's look at where my price targets would be. Now if this is the bottom and we start to break out, my next target's going to be about this 236 level, which is going to put us very close to the outside of that descending resistance. So let's make this a little bit smaller here. This is where I would look to take profits. And then also this 382 level would be a strong area of interest for me. Now that's what the two areas that I would be targeting for this bounce up. Now if we can actually play off this inverse head and shoulder and bounce up to the 236, then that would put us outside of this descending resistance, and I think that that would really be all we needed before we could actually break out of this thing. And so that would be really nice. I'd like to see further continuation upwards of this 382 to this 382 level. Yeah, at about this lower high that we saw right here. And so that's what I'm going to be watching out for inside of Bitcoin. I like the volume that's coming in here. This market cap chart is a little bit more accurate than the price chart, and so I've been watching this one a lot. Now I think that we're very close to the breakout, and so I wanted to update you guys and show you my big picture analysis with things. Overall, I've never been more bullish in my entire life. I know that I just updated you guys with a more of a bearish scenario for XRP, so I wanted to make sure everybody knew that I was still long-term very bullish. Even if we experience a little bit of downside, I'm not too worried about it because I look at the long-term trend, and we're still very early in this thing. And I do believe that 2020 and 2021 are going to be very profitable years, and we'll be able to make a lot of money in the process. And so I'm just following these time frames. I'm following how the cycles have worked previously. There's a ton of new money that's entered the market within this recent dip and rally in December of last year. And so I'm going to keep doing my part by accumulating. I'm doing my part by informing you guys of what my trading plan is, because I want us all to be here to profit together. And there's a lot of really interesting things going on. I mean, overall, I think that the Bitcoin pairs of altcoins are going to drop and take one more leg down to my 21% Fibonacci level. And we're going to continue on in this uptrend where every time we hit a Fibonacci equivalent, we bottom and then start a new upswing and a new alt season at that. And so I think we could see something along the lines of this. Kind of drop to that 21%, and then we can kind of break up and go into our new alt season, and who knows how high that can take us. I think that we could very easily see about a 90% altcoin ratio in the next cycle, which will be very, very massive, and it'll bring a lot of new money to a lot of people. Anybody that has altcoins is going to set themselves up to make a significant amount of money in the process, and so I want to be there to mentor you guys through all of that. Make sure you guys check out my course. It's all of my educational content that I teach you guys, my personal trading plans for how I spot these patterns, how I make profit inside of the market. If you're somebody that's just looking to copy my signals, you can check that out by following the invitation link in the description of this video, and there you're going to get access to my Discord server. You guys are definitely going to want to check all that stuff out so you can learn how to profit just like I have inside of this market, and then you can kind of copy along with the things that I'm doing. So with all that being said, guys, thank you so much for tuning into this video. I will catch you in the next update. As always, peace out.